my behalf.
Hey YouTube, this is Oisin Sabin. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to another episode of the Friday interview series.
I'm so grateful you're having me here. It's my immense pleasure to share my views with you, and it's just magical how we connected. And it's a beautiful day to start with, and we are on absolutely opposite um, side of the globe. It's like evening, beautiful evening out here, and it's like you're just got up from your bed and just having your morning routine. Isn't it amazing how we connect and talk? And it's like mesmerizing.
Well, thing with you being in India, the Indian culture in my understanding, which is very limited, looks very much at the interconnectedness of the world. How are you viewing this idea that we're on opposite sides of the globe today and you're in India, it's 8 o'clock at night there, and it's 8 a.m. for me, and we're having this real-time interview at this moment.
This is a very interesting topic, yeah, and I would give a brief glimpse of this kind of talks and the kind of telepathic talks we could have, which is very easily done these days with spirituality, understanding in depth of spirituality. It was already mentioned in ancient Vedic and Brahmin texts, right? The Vedic sages, the holy text, Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad, Devi Bhagavad, and even Vaman Puran, they have this kind of inscriptions where those people, like thousands of years back, they used to have this kind of conversation. They used to travel with a blink of eye. They used to communicate with each other, and we thought that could be through the third eye, right? That is our limited understanding. Fine, but I think we have manifested those things which were already existing thousands of years back, and I'm waiting eagerly for much more.
And I agree with you. I think, you know, I practice witchcraft. I'm a second generation witch, and there's been a lot of study around physics, and physics is the movement of energy, and they're really one of the most interesting things I've I've always followed is string theory. And the ideas
Yeah.
of string theory is that you can take two molecules of an atom, and whatever you do to one atom, even though the molecules are separated and not connected, if you do something to one atom, it happens to the other. And you
Yeah,
talking about
exactly.
the Ada Vedic texts, I may have said that wrong, I apologize. And that thousands of years ago, people with a blink of an eye could be in another place talking like we are right now. And it's that
Absolutely.
idea that in this very understanding the Indian culture, one thing that I've at least heard, I don't know if it's true, that the culture has existed for so long that it's the only culture
That's
on
right.
the planet that has actually recorded the rotation of the axis of the earth going from right to left or left to right. I'm not sure. And we're actually at that point where the earth's axis is beginning to rotate again. Is that sort of a true statement within your culture? What's your knowledge on that?
Yeah, that's true. Even they had, there is a sound of the universe, and that is Om, right? And now scientists are, understanding the humming sound of the universe, which already existed, and our Brahmins used to, meditate on that because Brahmasmi, whatever exists outside of you, there is inside of you. So Omkar is the sound of the universe, right? The universe where they consider it as a vacuum, but the sound exists there. All right. So Om is our inner sound where our nadis, our beats, our Shushumna nadi is humming constantly with the sound of Om. Moreover, they had also calculated the distance from Earth to the sun, which is already mentioned in the shlokas, right? Isn't that interesting?
It really is. And, I mean, it's fascinating because, I think, you know, humans in a lot of ways, this, the human self, this world of form, and you
Yeah,
talk about and, within like more of the Native American culture here in the US, the drum beat, the tap of the one drum kind of links into that
yeah,
realistically the that sound is literally that first tap, that first universal tap of the drum. And that the
that's right.
whole universe, that one tap is what created this whole universe we live in. And it's funny that you are, that we're kind of talking about that sound. And one of the things I do a lot of work around is I work with this idea that we don't co-create in a vacuum. We don't do that. We're not in a space where we're co-creating in a vacuum. And I think here in the US, like The Secret came out and the laws of attraction came out. And the law of attraction says change your mind and everything
Yeah,
changes. That's partially a lie. I mean, mindset is very important in this world, but
exactly.
if you're sitting in your bedroom telling yourself, I want to be more abundant, I want a promotion, I want a better relationship, or things like that, you're telling yourself that, and that's important, but what action are you taking? I do,
True.
how I work is, do my words, my actions, my will and intention align to manifest my own desire? And when I say the word will, what that translates to for me is I am willing. It's not
Yeah.
will, it's I am willing. And I'm wondering from sort of the Hindu perspective, how does that play out, the words, actions, will and intention to manifest desire, need, or want? Like, how would you explain that to the viewers?
Yeah, that's a very good and interesting point. See, we need to sustain here in this existing physical body. So, our mind, body, and soul, all three of them should be working together to attain a peaceful life here, an intellectual mind which is towards spirituality, and in the end to attain moksha, that is mukti. Okay, so if when three of them are working together, your life is a bliss. And if any one of them is disoriented, you can't blame others or anything around you. It's all within you and you have the power to take it back. And when you're willing, as you said, if you are having a positive affirmation about that and you are taking the right steps towards it, the world is in your hand, right? And the world starts with your own world, which is your own body, right? And would you believe there is a deity? And right, we just discussed there are so many gods in Hindu culture, and there are 33 crores of them, Hindu deities. Okay, and there is a deity for each organ of body, and there is a mantra to please the deity and to even see. This is a fact check. I was diagnosed of osteoporosis, and I just wondered, when I'm preaching so much about Indian culture and our Vedas and literature, why not I try it firsthand? I found out Majasti god is the god of bones, and I did the chanting of that god. I am from osteoporosis to osteopenia now. All right, so these things actually work, and I am a first-hand example of that. When we used to check our nadis, nadi is this part, the pulse. When the pulse is checked by our ancient doctors, and they were also the scientists, right? Spirituality and science, as you suggested, they have to go together. Therefore, you find amazing results. When you check the nadi, you check the doshas of your body, what your body is composed of. And then there comes astrology, where you check which planet is affecting you more and for how long, right? And this god is Dhanvantri of medicine, okay? And Vishwakarma is the science of Vastu, how you are living in your house, in which direction the sun is affecting you, the moon is affecting you, right? This is again a science of living properly along with the energies of the universe. Fine. When you align your body towards that, when you align your mind towards a healthy life, when you are working according to the doshas, what your body is composed of, all of us have a different composition of our existing physical body. And it's our, duty to have it perfectly aligned, because this is where our soul resides. Fine. So when our soul, mind, and body all work together, you would be having a life which you would, be an example for others. And uh, there is also a shastra called Kama Sutra, that is a science of pleasure. Fine, you have to please your body as well because you are residing here. Fine. And uh, there is a goddess Saraswati, which is for Saraswati, Ganpati, and Mahadev, for intellectual. Lakshmi is for wealth, Kuber is for wealth, Indra is for power. So you know what aspect you are lacking at that time, you can enhance by, calling the deities, especially for that problem. And you have very easy mantras, you have very easy sadhanas, you don't have to go to jungle and stay there for long, and um, um, it's all here, it's all in here within your sansaric self. Sansaric is when you are into this physical body, you have to respect that as well. You can't stay spiritual all the time, you have to come back for your parents, for your child, for your job, right? You do actually have a job to sustain. Fine. You can't, have the three wings going in all different directions. Fine. You have it all balanced, stay on a path, stay on a holistic path, and then the magic would happen. That is your willingness. You start with your will.
And it's interesting because one of the things I've been really sort of in my own world with is that I work with the concept that we are whole humans at
Yeah.
all points of life. The movement of life is we are a whole human, and we are in that process of evolving into the more whole human. And one of my favorite jokes that I tell so often to people is the monk who is 30 seconds from attaining nirvana. In that 30 seconds, that monk is still working on themselves. You
Yeah.
30 seconds from nirvana, and that
Process.
last 30 seconds, they're still working. And that becoming
Yeah.
a whole human is the work of a lifetime. And I really like that you talked about, you can't be off over in, the realm of this of your ancestors or the fae folk can, or the gods or the great cosmos all the time, because it creates disbalance. And you were talking about, that you have to walk that kind of balanced path. And I think as humans, we need to be attempting that alignment and path. And for me, I work a very daily program around emotional and spiritual healing. Is I came from a very rough childhood, and one of the traditions of my path is the soul alignment daily. And it's my tradition breaks into the three parts of soul, which I'm not going to go into as it's tradition law and I can't go into it. um but the to step into that flow of that the flow of Om, that universal hum, you have to align all three parts of your soul. And you might only be there for a minute after alignment. That doesn't matter because you're a human, and we're humans, we're messy little creatures. I mean, we just are. We have mental health issues, physical health issues, we've got kids, we've got jobs, administrative duties in varying groups. I mean, I run my own small business. I really just kind of I'm jumping in and just did a thing. And I've been through a lot of transformation, all very great. But I like that you are talking about that, you can't have your mental life going this direction, your physical life going this direction, and your spiritual life going this direction. You, the as humans, we need to be pulling back into, how do we align this? How do we create
It's a whole
one,
package.
yeah, how do we create one fluid language? And that's something I did another YouTube piece on, is intellectual, emotional, and spiritual languages. Do you
Yeah.
have them separated, or are they one? And if it's okay to have them separated, it's that life is easier, as you pointed out, if you've got your intellectual, emotional, and spiritual language aligned into one fluid language. Life becomes an easier path.
Yeah.
And I like that you talk about mantras, because I have so many of my own kind of mottos, which I mean, you could call mantras if how you're looking at them. Like I just did a new one that I've been using a lot lately, which is, do not meddle in the affairs of time, for time will laugh at you.
Yeah.
I also
That's interesting.
I talk a lot about, my life is dedication and creation. That's sort of another one of my mottos that I live by. And um, I know from doing yoga and other things that, I mean, sometimes, people, particularly here in the US, that there are mantras that just by listening to them, not saying them, have effects on the body. Where do you stand kind of on that, about like, can people just really, have a calm, like, they're having a very hectic day and they just need that, take the step back for 5 minutes. Can they put on a mantra that's about slowing your breath and just breathing for a few
Works. Yeah.
minutes, or
It
listening,
works. Yeah.
and then but not having to sing or chant that mantra? Like, where would you put yourself in that? Can you just listen and still have an effect, versus actually saying the mantra's effect?
Yeah, that works equally well because your mind is there, right? You're working with your mind. It's in a meditative state, right? And when you are chanting it, you are also in a physical state, right? When you are only doing the meditative state, your physical state is already aligned towards it. You have taken the first step and you are in a peace of mind to, even if you don't understand the mantra, that is the sound, the vibration which is working on you, not the words, right? If you're just chanting without the intention, without the vibration working on you, the chanting won't work. It's the vice versa. All right. First thing, have your intention set. Secondly, even if you are listening to it, just feel the vibration. You don't have to chant it. Fine. And only chanting won't work when your mind is somewhere else. It's just the meditative state that works. Yeah, it's just our psyche which is doing the magic on us. Because our nerves are connected from there. That is our crown chakra. Our crown chakra rules all our nadis, right? And there is a the sound which every chakra emits. Those are also measured in hertz. This is already there in our shastras, but now scientifically also they are proven, right? And if you chant that sound, root chakra sound is ram. It's so easy to chant. It's not a whole mantra, but this is a mantra in itself, a huge mantra to clear your root chakra, to activate it, and even to sustain it. Yeah, so it's so simple as that. And if you are listening to the subliminal music or binaural beats, they are emitting the same hertz which the rum sound would be emitting. So if you have binaural beats of 235 hertz, it's actually working on your chakra without even you knowing it. Yeah, and you said like all holistic self when we are healing all together. I have a very beautiful name for that. It's Antakarna. Now, Antakarna is your subconscious mind, your conscious mind, your intellect, and your ego. All four of them comprise of Antakarana. So when you're working with your Antakarana, you are not differentiating between you are just chanting it, you are just reciting and chanting it, you are doing the rosary, or you are visiting a temple, or you are sitting in a a secluded place in your river bank. It hardly matters. When your antakarana is aligned, you are in tune with it, your conscious subconscious mind, your intellect and ego, all four of them. That is what is needed. And people waste so much of a time finding the meaning to it. We are not here to find a meaning to our life. We are here to live the purpose rather than finding the meaning.
Well, it's funny because, we were, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'd reached out to you and then Facebook had sent it to your spam folder. So you didn't see it until this morning. And, I really, I like the way you describe, the conscious, the unconscious, that there are these four pieces. I want to kind of jump back for a second, that I had said, I do a lot of work with words, actions, will and intention to manifest desire, need, want. And let's step back into, that you gave it, you gave that sound of the, the binaural beats, the sound you can use, that listening and letting your mind be just attuned to the vibration can change. But you know let let's talk a little bit about intention. I loved that you used that word. And what would be, whatever you're comfortable sharing, how would you word to people out there and intention, um and actually, to finish out, we're going to have to jump over and take a break, YouTube. We're going to continue with this fascinating discussion. Um, and we're going to pick up where we're leaving off here on that first word I used with Mona today about, in words and how we turn word with intention. So we're going to take a quick break, YouTube. We'll be right back with this fascinating discussion. We'll be right back, and hang on, and we'll see you in a few minutes.